See if you can actually feel the silence just sinking into every cell of your body. If you can feel how the silence has such an alive quality, there's such an aliveness to the silence that you can actually feel your body absorbing it. It has this aliveness that's very nourishing for the body, for the nervous system. It's nutrients to our energetic subtle body. And the emptier you are of thought, the more that you can sense this aliveness of the silence, this restorative quality that's just inherent in the silence. It's just imbued within the silence, this healing quality, this aliveness. When we are willing to step out of the deadness or the dryness of thinkingness, and we just open ourselves up to receiving on a feeling sense level, that's when we start to make a deep connection with this nourishing quality that the silence has within it. And it's always here, not just in the meditation, but in every moment of your life. This nourishment and this healing is available to you. And all that's asked of you to receive it is just to simply be open and to be sensitive. You can maybe feel in your heart chakras. I've been feeling so much lately how life is just disassembling our ego, our egoic desires, and whatever the ego is trying to get accomplished. I can just feel right now Gaia, the energies, New Earth is just disassembling all of that. If we're in that place, it's just like trying to push a boulder straight uphill. And I've noticed that these energies are just bringing us really into the heart center, into this place of trust and presence. And really just allowing something greater. I think the key right now with these energies, with this ascension process, is connecting and surrendering into something greater and allowing that to live through you in every moment, and just literally giving your life to that presence. It's like our egos are so limited. When we open to something greater, that's when we start feeling like real power, real confidence, a sense of purpose, a sense of interconnectedness and flow, and just knowing that no matter how crazy and chaotic everything appears, that everything's going to be okay. But when we're in our ego, we don't often have that sense. It's kind of a fight, pushing the boulder uphill, a struggle, is very limited, working really hard for very little. Things just kind of fall apart. That's what's happening right now. If you're in ego, things are falling apart for you. but it's for your it's for your highest good, so that you can surrender into something greater. Because if everything was just going amazing while you were in ego right now, you wouldn't have that pressure and that impetus to surrender into something greater. So just realize that if it feels like you're just keep running into a brick wall and things are just falling apart and not working out how you think they should, recognize that this is the universe serving you and helping you step into something greater, helping you to allow something greater to start living through you, working through you, loving through you, healing through you. And oftentimes it's very inconvenient for the ego for this to happen, because it's not exactly how the ego thought it would look. And the ego wants to be in control to make sure it gets everything it wants. But if you'll trust, and if you'll actually let a greater presence live through you, a greater consciousness start living through you, you'll actually discover that you actually begin receiving what you really wanted at your deepest levels. And it might look different than what the ego, thought it wanted, but it's actually more true, more fulfilling, more lasting. I just feel that for a lot of us, like if I know I've been stuck in ego on and off for the last 2 months, here and there, and that's just normal. And just finally, what it just takes us, things just not working out over and over again, for us to finally humble ourselves, to connect to our humility and be like, oh, I give up. You do this for me, Divine Mother. This is your life. I'm so sorry for being so stubborn. I have a very stubborn and hardened ego at times. And it can be very hard for me to let go into something greater. And so sometimes for me, things have to get quite intense before I finally fall to my knees in prostration and say, you take the wheel, Divine Mother. I lay my life down to you, Divine Mother. And this is the greatest gift we can actually give the ego. It's so counterintuitive, but this is actually the greatest thing we can give our ego. Because then the ego starts to feel this sense of power coming into our being, this sense of love, this sense of wisdom starts flowing through our being. And then the ego can feel like, oh, okay, we're being held here. Whereas when we let the ego take the wheel and the ego is trying to live our life, it just doesn't have a sense of peace. There's no sense of real deep safety there. It's always just fight or flight, And the ego actually, once it gets over its little tantrum and finally surrenders, it just surrenders, and it starts to feel this sense of relief, like, okay, good. The ego actually didn't really want to do it all along. It just almost wanted that permission that it's okay to surrender. It's okay to let something else do it. It's okay to let this greater love live through this being. That this greater presence, that the Divine Mother, she can be trusted. We can put our faith in the Divine Mother. She'll support us. She will love us. And she will guide us every step of the way. We can really give every ounce of our life and our being to her. And in this way, we become one with her. And we feel her flow of energy and how dynamic it is compared to the ego. The ego is predictable, repetitive, dry, limited. But when we give our life to the Divine Mother, it just becomes like powerful, it becomes like right here, aligned, firm, but at the same time playful and silly, and there's joy. There can be seriousness, but there's strength. It's just like so spontaneous. When we feel the Divine Mother living through us, as us, it's just moment to moment, and she she flows through, and whatever's needed comes through. Like I said, sometimes it's boundaries and firmness, sometimes it's just playful silliness, love. I mean, it's always love, but the love of the Divine Mother living through us can take all these different shapes, whatever shape is needed in every moment. And we can just trust that we'll know what we need to know in every moment, that the right action will come through us of its own accord. We don't have to worry about the future. It's all taken care of. We just have to open to this moment, to the presence that's here for all of us right now, and just let it flow into us. We just need to simply be receptive to what's here, because that greater intelligence, it has it all taken care of for us. We can just simply let go and enjoy the ride. And love the one who sometimes doesn't enjoy the ride. Because that's okay too, if we're not enjoying the ride. If the ride's miserable and messy, that's okay too. The Divine Mother doesn't mind your messy ego, the drama. It's all perfect. You just let yourself off the hook. Hope that was a helpful little meditation. What time is it? It's almost 9 o'clock here. Much love to you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.